If you don't understand the margins and you just think you're just going to open a retailer with the amount of competition you have right now, you're going to be very lucky to survive. Very lucky to survive. The worst attrition rate of any industry is cannabis. There's more cannabis businesses going out of business than the restaurant business, which was the worst before. Twice as bad for cannabis businesses. Your chance of succeeding in opening a cannabis business, if you don't know what you're doing, your chance of succeeding about 1 in 40.
You too. What's good with it, man? It's your boy Neil Cannabis, and I'm back with another video. So today we are at Barbary Coast. We're doing our nationwide dispensary tour. We're gonna get to talk with some of the people on the staff and just get a better understanding about how to operate and how to run a cannabis dispensary. So yeah, let's get into it. Touch a little bit on your background and your role with the company?
I'm a corporate consultant. So I've been in the industry about 20 years. I work with dispensaries who are looking to try and gain back some market share, but also important is making sure the margins work so that the companies have enough money to pay their taxes, pay all their bills, and survive. Surviving is a good thing right now because a lot of the competition aren't. So as long as you can survive right now, the dynamics will change. The market share will come back if we make sure that we're giving deals that it's a small industry. People hear about things quite quickly. It's really just helping companies finding ways to fix their margins, the average cost of goods. If we can take a store that's doing 50% cost of goods and bring it down to 35%, 15% net right off the bat. So if you're losing 15% as a business, you're going to go out of business pretty quickly, but with a little change, working with vendors, giving them deals to help, and that's reciprocal, working together. The vendors have to be our strategic partners. So that's really the key, is getting them to work with us. We sell more of their product. They give us a better margin. We get that 15%. That 15% now takes what a company used to lose, and now it's breaking even. And then it's working with the staff and making sure that we manage the staff in the best way so that we cut our margins there too. And take a company that's doing 35% cost of staff, bring it down to 25%. Now you've caught another 10% back. That's kind of what I do. I worked for these companies, started about a year and a half ago, took 25% net profit back. So they were losing money. Now they're making money to pay off old debt, right? So coming back and doing it in the way that makes sense. It's all the little pieces. So you save a few percent here, a few percent there, it adds up.
What do you see as one of the challenges right now within the industry? You're alluding to how it used to be. You had a large influx of customers, but now it's a little bit more challenging.
So the city of San Francisco gave out a massive number of permits. And so they gave out all these permits, which meant that the average sales per store is dramatically reduced. So we lost about 80% of the business in a very short period of time. COVID didn't help. Obviously, there was a loss of traffic generally in San Francisco just from COVID. And then the city itself has been suffering. All retailers, not just cannabis, but all retailers in the city have been suffering. So between that and the massive amount of new, there's 4 times as many clubs as there were 5 years ago. And so, of course, you're going to lose market share.
What are some of your plans on how to combat that with the rise in competition? Are you pivoting to delivery? What are some things that you guys are thinking about?
We do offer delivery, but it's a relatively small amount because there's so many delivery services. And so we do offer delivery, but really what we're trying to do is just work with our vendors to get the best possible deals and then pass that on to our customers. We got a new VIP program right now at Barbary and Grassroots. Buy one, 50% off everything in the store. That way we can hopefully increase the amount of product that people are buying here and make it so that it's difficult for our competition to beat our pricing. For us to survive and take the hit on the margins, we have to sell more product. So by doing the second one, we've sold more product. Now it doesn't hurt us by giving that discount. So just finding ways to strategically slowly draw our customer base back, just using business strategies to try and make it work. So for example, the vendors now, we're going to be giving them their own shelf space. We're going to give them this area here where they'll come in and put all their products. So each of our vendors that participates in the program will get a day each week where they'll have just their products in this little area here in the evening where there's a lot of people, and just finding ways we can work together. If the vendors are selling a lot more product, they can give us a little bit of a discount. We take that discount, we give it straight to the customer.
Can you talk a little bit about the uniqueness of this area and San Francisco just being such of a robust place that so many people visit? However, in the past few years, there's been crime, homelessness. Can you touch on just some of those dynamics?
Yeah, I can say that it's definitely impacts the retail sales of everyone, but certainly cannabis as well. There's just less foot traffic. There's less people working in San Francisco. So a lot of people working from home now instead of coming into the city. A big example is Mo Green's is one of our stores, and they had Twitter next door. So Twitter disappearing from literally right outside their doorstep. Companies leaving the city is also business leaving the city. My clients, they own Mo Green's, Grassroots, Barbary Coast.
That's just one whole conglomerate.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you touch on how are you able to leverage having multiple stores in order to increase your buying power?
All the vendors are happy to give deals on volume. So instead of having to have a lot of volume in one store, which would make it difficult because then you wouldn't have so many options on the shelf, we like to have lots of options. So by having 3 stores, we'll get those volume pricing without having to have too much of the same thing on the same shelf.
Do you curate the menu based on the store, or do all stores have basically the same products in the same menu?
Pretty similar products. There will be different products in different stores. So Grassroots will have some different products that maybe we wouldn't carry here or Mo Green, but that there's a demand for, but not so much for the people coming to lounges. Typically in a lounge, you're going to expect to pay a little bit more than you would at a super cheap little store because you have a more expensive rent. You have more staff when you have a lounge. They have to clean the bongs. So you have extra expenses. Typically lounges, you'll pay a bit more. Like if you go to a bar, you don't expect to pay the exact same price for your beer as you do if you go to Safeway. Relatively speaking, it's almost the same. So it's not like a big difference. But now this is where we did the buy one 50% off. With the buy one 50% off, you can't beat our price in San Francisco. The next stage is we're guaranteed to beat anyone's San Francisco price. We don't want people to not come here because they're going to save $1 somewhere else. So we want to make sure, hey, well, buy the second one and then you can't get it cheaper. It's not easy. It was millions of dollars to set this lounge up, to build it out and get the permits. It's millions of dollars of investment. We're still fortunate to be in the forefront of the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
So everyone's still learning. I've been doing it 20 years, but I'm still learning.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I just have more experience maybe than other people, and my background is business and finance, so I can understand the numbers a bit
You know
better.
what KPIs to look for. And things.
Yeah, and how to fix problems, right? So I come in and I see a dispensary and immediately I'll know, okay, your cost of staff is too much. Your cost of product is too much. Your cost of rent is too much, so I can immediately see where we need to focus on fixing things.
Wow.
Then it's implementation, right? And implementation typically is about staff. And most of the time, the staff are a big part of the problem when a dispensary is not doing well. So most of the time, I'm reorging staff right off the bat is like the first thing, and simultaneously reorging and reworking the vendors. So we fix those 2 things straight away, and that's a 25% change in net.
What are some of the things that you're doing as far as marketing? I've seen when I looked up the dispensary, you guys have like the most reviews out of any dispensary in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that you're doing really good, collecting those reviews, which is going to boost your SEO. But other than that, what are some things that you're doing to market to that specific customer that's looking for an experience rather than just the cheapest weed?
So we want to give customers choice, more choice than other places. And so by having more options, if you like a particular brand and you go see, okay, well, this store only has 2 strains
Yeah.
and Barbary Coast has 8 strains. more likely to come to the one with more options. If somebody's looking for the best price, they can still get it. They just got to buy two.
Yeah.
Right? Buy one, the second one's half off. You've got the best price. So we want to be able to capture people who are not necessarily looking just for the best experience, but also the ones looking for best price. So it's really just trying to find out, how do we get the people who are looking for the cheapest product, as well as the people who don't mind, they just want the best product. And so having both is super important.
Okay.
And the menu, curating the menu is a huge part of that push, that drive.
For a dispensary of this size, how many SKUs do you guys have on your menu?
Probably about 1,500.
1,500. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what would you say predominantly? I know probably flour is your top sales, but
flour and then pre-rolls is right there with it.
Yeah.
So, in the past it was hugely predominant with flour, but now we see a lot more companies investing in the pre-rolls, the infused pre-rolls, the blunts. So pre-rolls now are almost the same amount as flour sales.
Wow.
And then after that, you got the vape pens, the super easy when people are just looking for disposable vape. It's just super convenient. So a lot of it is convenience as well. People don't want to have to roll a joint or bring out a bong. They want to just smoke a joint.
Yeah, you touched on staff. How important is it to make sure you're getting the right people representing the company? And then not only that, making sure that they're executing all the SOPs and everything that you're trying to put into place in order to elevate the business and get the business to the next level.
Yeah. So, if you don't have the right staff, it doesn't matter how good your programs are if they don't follow them. If we've got to buy 50% off and the staff aren't telling anyone,
no point,
the customer's not going to be getting the second one and they're not going to be getting that great deal. If you make sure the customers know about the great deals, when they leave, they know they're going to come back.
Yeah.
So it's just really important to have the staff that follow the SOPs, make sure that all the specials, let people know about them. We want people to get the best deal. So they'll come back. It's a strange balance because you think it's a terrible business model to give a second one for 50% off because that person's going to take twice as long to come back. Yeah, but we're going to have twice as many customers.
Yeah.
Once the word gets out that you can't beat the price and you get to come to a nice lounge whilst getting the best price, watch a show, listen to a comedian, a magician, or something fun with your friends, makes it a nice environment. So it's something that we're really focusing on now, giving people a reason to come back.
So what's next? What's the overall goal as far as moving forward for the business?
So the goal really is to try and do a franchise. When people come to Barbary Coast, they can go to any city, find a Barbary Coast, and know that they'll get all the same brands, all the same products that you would expect to see at a Barbary Coast. The next step is finding dispensaries, because there's plenty of them that are going out of business. And, they're going out of business because they have poor staff, poor product, typically operational things that are relatively quick and easy to fix. The idea is to go but instead of all in one city, city by city by city, open up new Barbary Coast stores.
Facilities,
and then leveraging the buying power and the margins and the specials that we have from all our vendors. And we only have to do it once. Once we made that deal, we take it and we cookie cutter.
Duplicate it,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that would be like the objective long term is get these perfect, which is what I'm working on now, to get the margins as high as they can whilst getting as many customers as possible.
So what type of advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start their own dispensary?
Hire me. Well, yeah, good.
Or just some basics, some basic steps, like maybe they have their license.
They should understand the margins. If you don't understand the margins and you just think you're just going to open a retailer with the amount of competition you have right now, you're going to be very lucky to survive. Very lucky to survive. It's the worst attrition rate of any industry is cannabis. There's more cannabis businesses going out of business than the restaurant business, which was the worst before. Twice as bad for cannabis businesses. Your chance of succeeding in opening a cannabis business, if you don't know what you're doing, your chances of succeeding about 1 in 40. Imagine a roulette wheel. You have to hit the one number only. The other. So it's dangerous if you don't understand the industry. If you don't know which products sell or what people are looking for, you're in trouble. But realistically, get a real expert who understands all the numbers and knows how do you squeak out that profit whilst everyone else is going out of business. Because most are going out of business. We had 3 dispensaries go out of business 2-week time, you know, and there's a lot more going out, you know.
So margins, you would say that's one of the most
critical,
important things that people need to understand.
Yeah, because if you do $1 million a month of business, but you're at a negative 2%,
doesn't matter.
It's very expensive.
Phantom money, phantom money. Thank you so much for your time, man. This is a beautiful dispensary. Hopefully you guys are able to hit your goals, hit your KPIs, and definitely with your knowledge, I don't have any question that all the dispensaries that you're working with is going to be able to get to that next level.
Yeah, all the dispensaries I'm working now are surviving.
Yeah.
You know, and making enough money to pay off debt, that's the key. And that's all you can really hope for right now.
Yeah.
And the survivors will do well in the future. The industry is so new and it's such a big turnover. It's also interesting. And there is the opportunity, if you do it the right way, you can make pretty good margins. You can make 25% net and do $1 million a month. And then it's a pretty nice business, you know, for a retail store, right? There's not too many retail stores that
doing
can
$1
get
million
that type of net. So there is that, you know, that's what everyone's chasing. But you're not going to catch it by luck. You know, you're going to catch it by having all the right tool, all in the right place, the right teams, and then you catch it. But
okay, perfect, man. Yeah, thank you so much.
Super cool. Wow, thank you so much.
Yes,
really nice meeting you.
Yes,
I appreciate what you're doing. You know? Getting the word out.
Trying to help people who want to break into the industry, but also letting them know the realistic side of things, because a lot of people, they get into it, like what you said, for the wrong reasons. And they're seeing that one dispensary, oh, I did 10 million, but it's like, do you know their margins? Do you know the amount of money that they had to invest to get it to that level? So it's almost like comparable to the gold rush. That's
you can get $1 million in revenue and easily spend $1 million too, right?
Phantom money.
You're only upside down 200 grand a month.
Correct.
Trouble quickly.
So getting people like you on my platform, it just allows people to get a more realistic look on getting into this industry and starting a dispensary. All right, my man. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Yep. So we just wrapped up our dispensary tour interview at Barbary Coast at SF. Man, it was some crazy game, crazy knowledge that my guy Alex was giving to you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Yo.